Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is day one of the Link to the Past Randomizer Fall 2019 tournaments. We have a great game on the line for you guys, a game two, actually, of this kind of best of three series we have in the group stage going on. SirLinkalot777 versus HayfieldBay. Game one happened earlier today with HayfieldBay taking the W, and SirLinkalot's going to try to bring it back for game number two. I'm going to be one of your commentators for this match. I am Slim Kirby, joined by Nihon Tiger. How are you doing, man? Are you ready for this game two?
Doing all right, Slim. Of course, good to be back in the booth with you here. Pretty interesting game one between Hayfield and SirLinkalot. We had it come down to who would find access into Desert Palace first. I think it was actually Desert Palace, Misery Mire access first. And we had Hayfield ended up finding the book on Laser Bridge, Turtle Rock, which was a pendant dungeon. And that put Hayfield in the go mode. And from there, it was kind of smooth sailing all the way to the end of the match. About a little bit of a 10-minute win there for Hayfield. But yeah, just for SirLinkalot. Played very well, but just one of those situations where you get an early item and it kind of leads you in a different path that's a little bit slower. And we're actually off again. Here we go.
Indeed. Looks like SirLinkalot finding some rupees inside the sanctuary. HayfieldBay picking up a piece of heart at Link's house. And yep, right from the get-go, we have a bit of an early game divergence with Hayfield. Going to check out the Uncle Cave, and maybe if he gets a weapon, might check out the front of Escape as well, while SirLinkalot's kind of doing the traditional lumberjack check into the many Kakariko checks we have here.
Yeah, as a viewer and a commentator, it's always nice to kind of see these early diversion paths here between the two runners. Kind of get a little bit more info. Now, unfortunately, we have like to call the God vision here. We get to see everything from up above. And big 20 there on Uncle. Hayfield not getting a weapon, going to save and quit. Probably will go to, I missed what was on Lumberjack Ledge there, unfortunately, on SirLinkalot's side, but it looks like we'll find out shortly because Hayfield's gonna jump into that route. Iceman saying 100 rupees. Thank you very much, Iceman. And by the
Yes.
way, I was gonna say thanks to Iceman for doing all the wonderful tracking for us today. Much appreciated.
Yeah, definitely. So as you saw in the forest right there, there was a compass laying on the ground. Do not fret, this is not key sanity by any means. It's actually kind of an interesting feature of this tournament. See, game one will be using all of the standard settings that we used for the qualifiers, but for game two, the person who didn't win game one has a chance to kind of toggle some different options. And in the form of this game, SirLinkalot, and this is the only change for this match, toggled on the maps and compass shuffles. So maps and compasses can now be found in the overworld and in other dungeons, much like the key sanity feature, but we don't have to worry about small keys or big keys anywhere else. They're still in their respective dungeons.
Yep, it's key sanity without all the key counting, which is not necessarily the worst thing in the world.
And they still kind of, the maps and compasses still keep their, like, key sanity features, right? Where they give you the information.
Correct.
Okay, so there is kind of a little bit of a mind game aspect to that. Like, you can kind of, try to go for those maps early, try to figure out what those crystals are. If you just want to go straight gambling into those dungeons, hoping you will get the right reward at the end, you can also do that. So just a kind of fun little interesting dynamic for this game, too.
Absolutely, and that's one thing we're not going to see a lot of map checks today, because, or at least we're not going to see like a single map check in the light world and a single map check in the dark world. We might get a couple just to kind of keep score of what's what. And we're seeing SirLinkalot going into basement blind, big 20 to start with, piece of heart, another piece of heart, bombs on the maze race, and there's a map to Skullwoods.
Yeah, won't be able to check that just yet, but when we get to Dark World, that might be the first dungeon we'll know from that. Just a piece of heart in the back of the blind side. We've not gotten a lot of items in Kakariko yet.
No, we got a piece of heart up on the library bookshelf ledge there as well. So very healthy seed to start with. A lot of pieces of heart, but not a lot of items, conversely, Slim.
Yeah, definitely not. Bottle vendor getting some bombs, which is nice, but SirLinkalot found a handful already, so not really needing those at this point.
Nope, and Hayfield's got the bloomerang hanging out in the tavern, so you get to see what's in Chicken Hut. Not a piece of heart. Well, this is very interesting having all of these pieces of heart here in Kakariko in the western half of the Light World. It's both good. It's both bad and good. Bad because you don't have progression items, but good because, and Slim, you've seen this a lot. You've probably played this a lot as well. You get a bunch of items at the start of a run here, and you're cooking along. You're going really well, and all of a sudden it just bottlenecks, and you get nothing for like a good 40 minutes, and you're just looking for one or two more items for progression. So
yeah, definitely.
So this should kind of narrow down the path, at least at the moment, of where our runners should be going. We're not going to see them run all over the place here. And speaking of strategies, SirLinkalot doing a slightly different strategy than Hayfield here. One of the two strategies that you see a lot at the maze race. You saw Hayfield just go down to the bottom there and check the item. SirLinkalot just going to go ahead and complete the race, and it's one of those strategies that works out really well if there's an item at the end because it's quicker than going and checking first, but sometimes you get nothing of value and you just end up having to pick up an item at the end there.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. Like, he didn't get anything else in Kakariko, so may as well gamble on the last thing. Maybe that's the one thing in here, but no. Just the blue boomerang, which does not give us any progression. Kind of nice to have, I guess, but will not progress the seed in any way, shape, or form. So SirLinkalot heading down to South Shore next.
Yeah, we did get an uncle check from Hayfield. It was just a big 20, unfortunately. So where we have not seen the Zelda rescue / escape back through the sewers yet. We have not seen most of south of Hyrule here, which SirLinkalot is now going through and doing. So we'll get to see all of this in just a moment. And then once we get past that, we'll get to see what's available. We also have Akina's Cave, which is a bit out of the way, but could contain needed progression.
Yeah, and it's looking like the dam just as empty as Kakariko here. Just a piece of heart inside and some arrows outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Super healthy seed, definitely. So hopefully Mini Moldorm Cave may have what we're looking for here.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of these scenarios where we don't have any items to strike down Moldorms except bombs, so gonna have to be a little careful with how you use your bombs here and make sure you don't run out of them. But SirLinkalot has 8 to work with, now 7, so he should be fine as long as the Moldorms cooperate anyway.
They should. I think he's probably going to try and pull these two on the... He's going to do them one by one. Sometimes you see him like that, like he's doing right now, just pulling those two. Oh, only got one. But if you are able to kind of manipulate their movement on the left side there, you can pull them both together, and he's down to 2 bombs.
Oh boy.
Gotta be careful. There we go.
Well, he got it at least.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. You want to try and save one to get to the Ice Rock Cave in the back. Here's a map. Leaves Town. There's our first sword.
Blue and Blue Mail. And even then, like, sword doesn't really progress anything at the moment until we get some other items, but still, it's much better to have than bombs, so definitely not regretting that, and we will need to have at least 2 swords to finish the game with.
Right. What that might open up here is the front half of Eastern Palace, obviously, which was kind of open in the first place. Mm-hmm. And, well, it'll also make the dark room easier, but that's pretty simple dark room. And we've also can now go down to the rescue in Hyrule Castle, since we have a weapon.
That's true. Could have done that with bombs, but it's a lot better with sword, for sure.
Yeah, you can definitely do it with bombs, boomerang, just stun the guards and then bomb them, but sword makes it a lot easier to do.
And looks like our tracker Iceman pointing out that the stun prize for this seed is actually single bombs, which is really nice. That's actually really good. That's one of the best stun prizes, I think, to get in Rando.
Nice. And Ice Rod KFS Compass for Eastern Palace.
Oh, appropriate place, I guess.
And I think SirLinkalot's going to go and check the back of Sahasral's hut and maybe dip into Eastern here. Might be a decent play to start with. I think there's a total of 6, possibly 6 items. It could be 5 items, and then the 6th one is on the Armor's Knights.
Well, you got to keep in mind the big key is still in the pool, so only 5. But you also have the added benefit of what SirLinkalot's checking right now, the 3 chests inside Sahasral's back room here, and also gets the green pendant information as well. So that this is one of the constant pieces of info you can get in a mode like this, with the maps and compasses being shuffled.
Ooh.
And yeah, we got a moon pearl there. But yeah, you still get the green pendant information from Sahasrala, and you still get the red bomb crystals from the bomb shop. So you can use that at least to narrow down some of your dungeons.
Yep. And Mercer and Professor Renderer pointing out in Twitch chat that the dungeon music is going to be random like it is in Key Sanity, so you won't be able to use the dulcet tones as we go into Eastern Palace here to determine if this is crystal or pendant.
Yes, that is correct. So yeah, at this point, I mean, literally, SirLinkalot is just slightly ahead, but I'd say just the Uncle check is really the only difference we have that Hayfield got done. So yeah, this is both definitely following the same general path here, as SirLinkalot does find the gloves inside Eastern. So that is 2/3 of our Dark World access. Just need to find the hammer somewhere or another glove upgrade.
Absolutely. Could be either of those options even too. Definitely not out of the question to have 2 glove upgrades within a single dungeon. It'd be kind of funky, but you never know. And the map of Eastern Palace shows up inside of Eastern Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Thought those were all supposed to be shuffled around.
I know, right?
Alright, and SirLinkalot here making progress out to this room on the left side here. It'll be interesting to see if he gets the glitch kill. You got 1. Oh, you got them both. Nicely done. I can never do that. It's very difficult sometimes, but there is a way to line it up so that you can hit it pretty regularly.
I've played Rando for 2 years, and I didn't actually finally figure out the true trick for doing that until very, very recently. But yeah, it's honestly pretty free. It's just a matter of getting to the center of the room, but not too far more forward.
Mm-hmm.
Go down to those bones, throw to the right, and then go up, grab the pot, and then throw it down. You definitely have to get used to it.
And while we were very quickly discussing that little bit of strategy work, we found Hayfield just found them as well. The flippers are in the big chest in Eastern Palace, so that's going to open up a lot of access, a lot of places to check here.
Yeah, that is correct. We have the hobo, we have the waterfall fairy, and the 2 items in the Zora area. Gonna need a lot more cash to get that Zora item, though. We're both runners, both very close to 100, but need 500 to make that expense work.
And there's 3rd item right there is the bomb. So we've got all 3 items out of Eastern Palace. And maybe, because it's map and compass shuffle, there may actually be a 4th item in the back, but we won't be able to get to it yet if there is.
Yeah, there's still going to be 1 item back there on the Armos, because yeah, there are 5 now with the maps and compasses shuffled. But yeah, still, that's all we can do right now. No bow, so gonna just have to keep moving on, finding some other things to do. Linkalot checking out the back of Escape. and Hayfield probably doing the same thing.
Yeah, it makes the most sense. Both these are, from what I can remember, they're both pretty experienced runners within the Link to the Past randomizer community, so not really shocked to see them making these item heavy checks at the start when you get these progression items as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of great runners in the community in general. Like, I mean, 128 people qualified, and there were a lot of runners that are kind of surprising that they didn't qualify. A lot of high competition in this tournament for sure. And both of these are the 2 and 3 seeds. I believe SirLinkalot's 2, Hayfield is 3. So they definitely had to score pretty well to get to their just current seeding as it is. So both of them definitely very experienced.
Yep, and just to give a real quick recap here for the seats, the seating, if you hear us talk about seating or if you hear another set of commentators talk about it, we had 128 competitors make it, and they were broken up into quadrants of 32. So the top 32 scorers were 1 seeds, the next 32 underneath that were 2s, next 32 underneath that were 3s, and the last 32 are 4 seeds. So even though it sounds like, a 1 versus 4 seed sounds like kind of a big disparity, it's probably not as big of a disparity because it's such a high chunk of the people that ran that, top 128 out of, I think we had 269 was the total. So
yeah, definitely.
that's, just slightly less than half of the people that participated actually made it in. So you're getting pretty good quality here from our 128 runners who are going at it right now. And SirLinkalot and Hayfield taking different routes here. Hayfield's going up to check the Zora area here, checked Hobo, and it wasn't anything in particular. SirLinkalot only getting, I think, bombs out of that first chest in escape rescue.
I do like this play from Hayfield, though. It is kind of like you definitely want to go to item dense checks, and I mean both choices were pretty item dense, but Hayfield's kind of following the logic of the flippers he just obtained to see if he can find something. But unfortunately, just a piece of hardened ledge does not have enough money for Zora, so he's gonna have to save and quit out of here for now. Hopefully, this doesn't turn into an rupee grinding seed here.
Yep. And Sailor Nap pointing out in Twitch chat as well that because Linkalot had not done Uncle yet, that this play was actually probably the more item dense play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense.
And that's really one of the things that helps you get a good time in Randomizer. You can't really control where the items specifically are, but one thing you can control is your routing decisions. And you want to try and route in as many spots as possible. My strategy, and I think the strategy for a lot of runners as well, is always to kind of make sure that you leave as few one-off locations that are hard and out of the way to get as possible, because those take time to obviously walk up there, check your item, and if it's not something you need, walk to the next location.
Yeah, definitely. And looks like both of our runners are going to be kind of trading places here. SirLinkalot heading over to the Zora area while Hayfield going through Hyrule Castle. It's looking like right now it's either going to be a Gina or, we can also technically sequence break up the mountain, get 2 items up there, but the logical access is either going to be at Agina or the 500 rupee grind we might have to do here.
Yeah, a super quick check there. I believe I saw. It definitely saw red crystal at Desert Palace, so that's where that one of those red crystals is. I think I saw the number 2 crystal at Eastern Palace, so I believe we've got 2 overworld crystals.
Okay, well that's nice at least. Love seeing those light world crystals. Means there's slightly shorter dungeons.
Also means that maybe you don't have to you don't have to walk a full clear of Swamp Palace for some of those longer dungeons that are much quicker in go mode.
Yeah, definitely. And one kind of good thing, and I think Hayfield is going to be checking Agina's next. There is a nice little place where you can actually grind some rupees close to where Agina is. There is the Desert Rock, which has quite a number of blue rupees inside, so you can grab some rupees, leave, re-enter the cave, and just kind of keep filling up a little bit. Obviously, Houlihan Room is also on the table as well. Both runners haven't done that yet, and that can still be done as well. So there are some definite ways we can get some money for the Zora expense we have here.
And we're getting the Agina check here from Hayfield first, and it looks like I suspect that SirLinkalot's heading over there as well.
It looks that way, and we have the hammer. That is our Dark World access.
Very nice.
So now they can kind of put off Zora for a little longer. It does leave it as kind of a one-off location they'll have to come back to at some point. Maybe, but for now, Dark World just opens up so much more, so they're going to be focused on that, especially since they're low on rupees anyway.
Yep. Of course, we'll see Hayfield probably go immediately over to the cave formerly known as Hype Cave. Not quite as hype anymore, unfortunately, due to the reworking of the item placement logic. It's still hype from every once in a while.
I mean, it's 5 checks. Like, it's 5 items you get, so it's definitely something to check out whenever you can.
There's a big 20. Can of Burna. Can of Samaria. Bombs and Mirror. Oh, okay. I badmouthed Hype Cave, and it was like, ha 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 ha. I'm going back to my old self.
Looks like we also have a... oh, wait, we already knew that. Green Pendant Misery Mire. We got that from Sahasrarla. Looks like Hayfield's not checking the bomb shop. We do know one of our red crystals, so it may not be super important, but could have gotten the info on that other crystal at least.
Right, and of course SirLinkalot gonna follow right in Hayfield's footsteps here. Gonna save and quit. Interesting choice. As Hayfield goes up to check on Snuppy. You gonna let us down again, buddy? Nope, not today. That's Sword.
So Stumpy was the hero of Hyrule this whole time. I see how it is.
And a South of Grove Cave check gets us another sword. Oh, okay.
That's going to make combat a lot more efficient for Hayfield here, for sure. I imagine Linkalot's probably just kind of going to be taking a bit of a south from Village of Outcast route, so he'll probably get both of those swords anyway, but until then, Hayfield's going to have a little bit of a combat advantage with at least the just general enemies in the Dark World here.
So what are the odds here in Digging Game? It's the fourth sword upgrade. That'd be something. Oh, that's 300 rupees. Oh.
That would have been pretty awesome, though, I will admit.
No, but 300 rupees is helpful if we need to get to Zora for an item.
Oh, and there's the Skull Woods check. Looks. And Thieves Town. There's our 3 pendants.
Yep. So yeah, that's an answer to that question. We were wondering what the pendant dungeons were all going to be, and turns out it's all along the left side of the Dark World there.
We still need to know that last red crystal, which could bring up the possibility of 2 items in the Pyramid Cave, Pyramid Fairy Cave, but we'll get those anyway at some point. We'll figure out what that last one is. They're probably not going to be going out of their way for maps anymore.
And just a big 20 in the first chest that SirLinkalot checks inside Skull Woods. Hayfield is going to be going to Dark World as well.
So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be 4 items that are guaranteed to be keys in Skull Woods here, because there's 3 small keys and the big key, which I think yeah, it's just 4 items here in Skull Woods for just regular items.
And Hayfield going down to Village of Outcasts. Let's see, gets 100 rupees and a heart in the chess game. SirLinkalot, I believe, just got the big key, so he's going to bomb jump across the gap here and open up that big chest, and let's see what's inside. 300 more rupees.
Well, Zora should not be a concern anymore, as we do find the red boomerang inside the the Village of Outcast Brewery.
And Hayfield going into the Town of Thieves.
Yeah, both of them are focusing on pendant dungeons, but as it's being said in chat, dungeons just have more potential value now. You got to consider every dungeon gets 2 more items for possibilities here. Hyrule Castle just getting 1 because it only has a map, not a compass. But yeah, more value inside dungeons, so definitely a good place to check for items. That means there's going to be 6 items here in Thieves Town, and that's a lot.
Yep. Now, the downside of that, of course, is that because the maps and compasses have been all shuffled around, there's no guarantee that the 6 items you're going to find are actually going to be items. You could end up with, in Thieves Town, you could end up with 3 compasses and 3 maps.
Yeah.
Ooh!
Did Hayfield check that?
Nope.
I mean, it's gonna be in his route anyway, I imagine, but still, like, it is interesting to find that right there.
Yeah, Hayfield went into Thieves Town first. I assume we'll see him go in the C-shaped house after.
Yeah.
So probably on the way out. It'll be kind of a routing decision, but Hayfield will get the flute. Just a matter of getting the flute a little bit later, and I assume that won't be too much of a time loss or anything like that. Hayfield's probably, Linkalot's probably just gonna go into Thieves Town here shortly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is definitely interesting when you look at even just the item distribution between maps and compasses, and then even just like normal, just straight up key sanity, because, you know, with key sanity, like, you're technically looking for more items, so you'll kind of try to gamble some things more because you need small keys and big keys on top of your normal items. Well, in this particular mode, it does just kind of add a lot more kind of dud items to the pool. So even just like, just the differences between those two is really, really interesting. So we'll see how that plays out for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, it's one of those things that with the map and compass shuffle, oh, there's a mushroom there. The top half there, I guess you call it the sun room of Thieves Town, since that's where the sun comes through. But it does, you are right, Slim, it does add a lot more dud or junk items to the mix here. So you have a lot more checks that you're going to go through too, just to try and find stuff, because it's not necessarily going to be a situation where you know you can skip chests until you're in go mode.
Mm-hmm. It kind of is a good explanation for why we saw such a lack of items in Kakariko too, actually, now looking back on that.
Yeah, so in that regard, it is a little bit like Key Sanity in the fact that you do have to open a lot more chests to find more stuff that's important. There's a map right there, Misery Mire map. You know it's already there though.
We do have a kind of a interesting divergence here because Hayfield is sticking around, gonna see Thieves Town through its conclusion. SirLinkalot actually noping out a little bit early here, so you know, if there's nothing on blind, because we haven't seen anything else of Super Note in Thieves Town, SirLinkalot's going to kind of step a little bit ahead of in the progression chain here.
Blind tried to catch Fog, but Blind missed. So these puns.
Oh, blind.
And a nice clean fight there from Hayfield. And it's going to be 10 arrows, so nothing of value there. It does get the red pendant, though.
To answer Daniel Oberon's question in chat, you'll find out in about like less than a minute where both of those swords are.
Yeah, I was going to say, Linkalot's kind of doing the inverse of what Hayfield did. And that's common. You'll see runners start off in different spots and kind of one will go up one way and route around, the other one will do the exact opposite, start at the end of that player's route and then route back down to where they started. So there's Linkalot getting the second sword, and the third one just about to pop through here in south of Grove Cave.
Yep, literally less than a minute from when you asked. You got your answer through not even us, but through the runners themselves.
And Hayfield's got that flute now as well, so we're pretty much dead even on items. The only real difference here being that Hayfield has gone through and completed Thieves' Town, and SirLinkalot has cleared out a fair chunk of Skullwood, so...
Yeah.
Yep.
So while it does look like Linkalot saved a lot of time by kind of noping out of Thieves' Town, you also have to consider that, you know, he still has the rest of Thieves' Town as available options. So that's going to be kind of weighing on his mind a little. Like, should I have stayed in Thieves' Town to finish it up? There's a lot of items in there. Is it worth dipping out of there? And we know that, you know, not finishing Thieves' Town didn't really hurt him. Yet, anyway, because obviously Pedestal's still on the table. But he doesn't know that, so he's going to be thinking about that for a while.
Right, and getting the map to Ice Palace for rescuing the old man from the dark room. Also opening up that restart point up at the top of the mountain there. Save a little bit of travel.
See 50 rupees on the top of Spectacle Cave, and in the inside, just a piece of heart. So, guess this means Linkalot going to be moving on to the Tower of Hera next.
Yep. And we know that it's a crystal dungeon. We don't know if it's a red crystal, but we know there is a crystal inside of it, and that it may not be completable because we don't have a fire source. So, as long as that big key is not hanging out in the basement.
Yeah, that is true.
Unless we're gonna see the pot clip here.
Oh no, we're not going to, because there's a big key right there. Yep. It was in the basement, just not the basement we were worried about.
Right. That's a good basement. Ooh. And the boots! Ooh! Ooh, that's a good call. So far from Linkalot, getting those boots will really help out. I think we need a hook shot anyways to do the pot clip. So
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a slightly newer bit of tech that's been found out. So,
right.
See, some people will use it and some people won't. It's pretty easy once you can get the practice down, like with pretty much with any sort of bomb jump or clip or things like that that are allowed within the tournament rules. Usually just takes a bit of practice to both as commentators to remember everything that you need to do that, and as runners to just execute that. So.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, there are loads of resources on the ALTTPR Discord, and hello, Rod.
And that will be for both runners when they get to that. That'll be a very welcome sight to have the ice rod. That early on, just kind of don't have to worry about the item that could be anywhere in the game being somewhere far away, and you're spending 40 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, running around trying to find it. But Linkalot now onto Moldorm, and gets bounced off the platform.
Yeah, looks like Moldorm woke up on the wrong side of the tower today, not having any of that, so Linkalot's jumping in for round number 2 here.
Hopefully he'll avoid getting body checked into the boards, does so, doesn't fall into the penalty box, and gets a heart for his troubles.
And Hayfield having to go the long way around the this little stone structure outside of Graveyard Ledge. Yeah, as chat's kind of pointing out here, both runners kind of following different items here. Hayfield kind of following the mirror a little more, while SirLinkalot's following the flute from the get-go. So, seeing a bit of a divergence because of that.
Yeah, of course, in game 1, we did see actually SirLinkalot follow the mirror a little bit more, and that kind of was the, I guess you could say that was not necessarily a mistake, I would say, because it's not really a mistake if you're still following the logic. Just a hard decision. You kind of sometimes have to choose between 2 items, and you might pick the one that has the longer route to your next progression item.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, that might be why we're kind of seeing like a couple of more like gamble-like plays from Linkalot, because he did kind of lose a lot of time following that mirror in the last seed. So, you know, that's why he probably dipped out of Thieves early. Could be under the mentality of, you know, I don't want to waste too much time here. My opponent is pretty solid, so let's see if we can maybe make something out of this gamble. And does find the Ether Medallion here in the bottom of Paradox Cave.
Yep, Mushroom turned in only 50 rupees. So Linkalot coming out on top there, both for not going all the way through Thieves Town and finding that mushroom and then having to turn it in to see if it was worth anything. And getting the ether. There's a compass for Gan's Tower. It's the map, Tower of Hera, so not very useful anymore. Ooh, the second glove upgrade.
Hello. And it does look like the red crystal, the other red crystal, was on Tower of Hera, so good info for Linkalot now. We know all the crystal layouts here.
Yep. And getting that ether is pretty nice to have too, just in case you need it for if you have to go into Mire for any reason, or if you need it for Turtle Rock access, which we may find out in a moment here.
Yep, as soon as you have both of those glove upgrades, one of the things you're thinking is, okay, how can I route in some quick checks of Mire and Turtle Rock just so I can kind of, you know, if I need to jump into those dungeons, I at least have that information.
Yep, and Hayfield is going to go check out Zora has enough money to do it now.
Good ride on his part.
Get to see, yeah, if this was a good play. No, just a piece of heart, unfortunately.
Yeah, so kind of looking like the flute was paying off a bit more than the mirror here, but I mean, we did need the mirror to get up to Hera anyway, so,
yep,
you know, mirror's going to be helpful for Hayfield.
Ooh.
Just needs to use the flute first. And ooh,
yeah, that's a Ether Medallion Turtle Rock, so we're good to go on that. I think we still need the Fire Rod, obviously, to be able to take on Trinex, but it will be interesting to see if Linkalot decides to checks the first Hookshot Cave chest. You can do that without the hookshot and finds nothing. I wonder if SirLinkalot's going to poke his head in here. Looks like maybe.
I mean, not a terrible idea, because, you know, you can kind of counteract those really obnoxious seeds that kind of, you know, give you 2 keys at the start and kind of lead you into further of Turtle Rock. And, oh, look, there's an item I need to get to another dungeon to find the Fire Rod. So, and, you know, best case scenario, you find like, you don't find a key in the first chest, and it's like, okay, well, I can't move forward anyway until I have the Fire Rod. So, not a terrible check to make really quick.
Nah, I think that's a good point to make, Slim, that if we don't find that key in the first chest, we're kind of fire rod locked out of the dungeon, so
Yeah, for
this
sure.
doesn't hurt if there's no key in here.
Oh, and that big key helps too, because yeah, we need a small key to move on. So Linkalot out of here knows he's not going to find the fire rod in here at the very least, and that's all he needs to complete the dungeon too. So
Great.
gonna be able to at least feel at least safe in that regard.
And one of the nice things about that too is that Linkalot probably knows that Turtle Rock will be a later dungeon because of that. Maybe even could be the last one, because of the fact that unless there is an item needed for another dungeon hiding out somewhere like deep within Turtle Rock, not having to worry about, I don't have the fire rod, I can't progress any further. Where is it? Is it in here somewhere and I have to go back, kind of deal.
Right, for sure. It does look like that SirLinkalot did not check Spike Cave, so that's one other check that's going to be on the mountain that he could have made, but we'll see. Could end up being something doesn't need, but we do find something we do need in the bow inside the Bonkrocks location.
Absolutely. And still technically out of logic for Eastern Palace to be completed right now because of the fact that we don't have a light source to get through the dark room, but it's a slightly more complex but still definitely doable dark room with the with strats. You just have to kill the right Icor.
Yeah, and that's a lot of potential items we could get in Palace of Darkness as well. Again, some probably will not be in logic, but they're still items, and that's what SirLinkalot is looking for. So, could see a play over in that direction very, very soon.
Yeah, so we're 41 minutes in, but let's kind of take inventory here real quick, Slim, and see what's feasibly on the table for our runners to complete and check at this point, given what we know item-wise.
Okay, sounds good. So, in terms of what we are kind of looking for anyway, we do need a fire rod. We do need a hook shots. Lamp for logical reasons, logical applications, I guess, but not necessary.
Yeah, silvers would be nice, but they're not required, especially because we have tempered sword. That will be tempered sword, silverless cannon's not as bad as master sword, silverless cannon, and it's certainly doable for both Hayfield and SirLinkalot. Getting the check in here for the Smith return. The frog gets to go home very quickly now. No world tour today on SirLinkalot's side, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Get the hammer pegs as well.
And I guess the one kind of good thing is, Ice Palace and Turtle Rock off the table since we need a fire rod, and more importantly for Ice Palace, we also need Bombos to even get anywhere in there. And
Ooh.
well, there. Okay, well that opens up some things. Literally just looking for a hookshot now on SirLinkalot's side.
I'm gonna say, please direct all your claims of witchcraft and wizardry to Slim Kirby, PO Box 232.
How'd you get my PO box number?
It's posted on your profile.
No, it's not. It's okay. I've been called a witch before, so it's fine.
Yeah, we're gonna see SirLinkalot here. Just go ahead and, since we have flute, might as well go turn the chest in. It's pretty quick and simple. Just gonna flute down to 7, walk on up to the locksmith, and get all of that taken care of here. Get these checks out of the way efficiently.
Oh my
Oh!
gosh!
Okay.
Well, that's
Theoretically, it could be good
technically,
go
yeah,
mode.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's go mode for him. Like
40
I'm.
at 43 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't know if I've ever seen. It's been a while since I've seen someone be theoretically in go mode at that point.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, if you want to get into like the logical implications, like lamp would still be logically required, but
Right.
if SirLinkalot can do all those dark rooms, then he's good to go. He just needs
Yeah.
to aim for crystal dungeons now.
I was gonna say the other thing too is that he could, in his quest to find, keys or whatever for a dungeon, he may come across the lamp as well. The other possibility that could keep us from not being in go mode would be for some reason having to go into Misery Mire and that not being ether. That's a red mail. Wow, this is a fairly generous seed.
I just love how we were just getting ready to analyze like what exactly these runners needed to do for go mode, and then just 2 minutes later, okay, there goes that discussion.
Yeah, let's see this. See, I'll save you the hassle. Just go, just go for it.
Yeah, really. Yeah, so both of our runners in Desert Palace right now. Unfortunately, though, one's better equipped to finish this dungeon than the other, because Hayfield has not picked up Fire Rod or a lamp yet, so
Right.
going to be unable to finish this on his end.
But I did see some discussion in chat, and I do kind of agree with some of the things that are being said. That a bottle would be nice. It would simply be nice to have for SirLinkalot as kind of a safety at this point, especially for dealing with cold stare shortly.
That is true, yeah, he is going to need to go into that fight with a pretty much full magic if he wants to complete it, if he doesn't find half magic anyway.
Right. So yeah, either finding half magic, finding bombos, or finding a bottle would be pretty nice right about now.
But it would honestly make like going into kind of the pod check before Ice Palace would be definitely a good one to make, because you'd still be looking for keys in that dungeon, so maybe on the off chance you'll pick up an item or two along the way. Maybe one of those could be a bottle or something.
Absolutely. Wonder if we'll see any of the. Let's see, is he gonna go flew away right away? Yep. I think just gonna try and maybe complete dungeons. It looks like Pod is gonna be the play here.
Yep, Pod and Eastern combo, both of them crystals, so yep, gonna be taking on these two next.
And Hayfield now doing the Smith chain will find that needed progression here. Hopefully, completes the chain all the way through.
He does still need to find the bow that's in Bonk Rocks, so hopefully he doesn't, put that off for too long. So now SirLink going through Palace of Darkness. What he's basically looking for at this point is a big key and, maybe a small key along the way that he can hoard for the final section. There's a small key, so we'll probably find others along the way while we're looking for that big key.
Hayfield grabbing that chest, so about to get hook shot as well. And as Slim pointed out the bow is in, or at least one of the bow upgrades, I guess you could say, because technically that there's 2 of them in version 31. One of the 2 is in Bonk Rocks. Maybe finding a second one somewhere else could still end up in go mode that way, but Bonk Rocks is definitely the easiest way to do that.
Yeah, that is true, and it is kind of just an unfortunate thing, and it's kind of something we saw a little bit in Game 1, but from the opposite runners, is that, you're still looking for one item. You have another item, or a couple of items, really, that just kind of point out to all these crystal dungeons that need completed anyway. So you're going to be wanting to focus on those, while your opponent, who has the item you're looking for, and has those other items that you have, is just kind of making forward progress to the end. So Hayfield's going to want to find a bow along the way somewhere, because he's going to be focused on crystal dungeons, I imagine, over overworld at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of the nature. It's why we do these as the best of 3, because of the fact that the way that the seeds can be just by checking one thing or not checking one place and having an item you need or an item you don't need, and someone else checks a different place and finds the item that they do need. It just kind of, that's the cruelty of it all, is sometimes you can be super close and the other guy can just be a little bit more lucky, or maybe make one right call that you make 5 minutes later, and that ultimately ends up being what determines the race. And that's why I'm really glad we get best of 3s. Also because it's more exciting, more just a
Yeah,
one-off.
definitely. This is actually the first Game 2 of the tournament, and the first series that makes it past Game 2. It's going to go to a Game 3. That's exciting right there.
Yeah. Theoretically, that it'll go to Game 3. Still don't know yet.
Yeah. I mean, we can't call
Obviously,
it too early, obviously, but yeah.
Right.
And yeah, another thing to point out, kind of going into that, is even Turtle Rock, which with these settings, that's going to give 7 possible items with the addition of Mimic Cave. That's 8. He's going back up the mountain, so he's probably thinking that right now. So he's going to go there, see if he can find his bow there along the way. While SirLinkalot, when he goes back up there to finish that dungeon, he's going to be finishing that last, so he'll be going right to Ganon's Tower afterwards. Okay, looks like Linkalot does find the big key inside the dark maze, so he is heading towards the Helmasaur King now to get his, looks like, 3rd crystal.
Yeah, it looks like that'd be the case. This is actually one of the tougher dungeons to do the dark rooms for, especially once you get into the basement here. The dark maze is it's tough, but at the same time, it is kind of static. So once you have an idea of what button sequences you need to input to get through the dark maze to get to the 2 chests, it's not too bad in that regard. It just requires a little bit of practice and memory. But the basement, especially the room with the 6 terror pins in it, that is always really, really difficult. Because those guys they start in the same spot, but they move around. They don't have a set pattern in which they move around in necessarily, so it can be a little bit difficult to get your hammer down and kill them and figure out where they're at. But thankfully, I think with Red Mail and 13 Hearts, we should be pretty safe.
Also, pretty thankfully, SirLinkalot does have the Fire Rod as well, so he will be able to see in that room, assuming he lights it perfectly, because as we pointed out before, we don't have any bottles, and don't have magic, so I think he only has like 1 shot at getting the torch.
Yeah, I say we're pretty low on magic here, so...
Oh, and he doesn't get it, unfortunately.
Yeah, so now he's got to play the guessing game here. And what's worse too is they don't make a sound until you kill them. So it's not like you can listen for them either. They're completely silent. Oh, you got one.
Oh, that was lucky. He picked
Yeah,
up a magic container from a dead one. That's nice.
nice. So that turned out to be good. And that makes the course a lot easier, but lucky magic drop kind of bailed him out there, made it
Yeah.
much, much better. Hayfield going into Turtle Rock does have the fire rod, so we'll get to progress down here.
So Hayfield really, really wants to find a bow in here at some point. Because, yeah, I imagine after this play, I think he's probably going to go to Swamp and full clear it. If he doesn't get the bow, he's going to probably full clear Ice as well. And then maybe could even potentially risk jumping in the pod straight away, see if he can find it in there. And unfortunately, we know where one of those bows are, and it's not going to be in any of these places unless that other boat just does happen to pop up somewhere.
Yep. Of course, the other problem too is that if the bow is in here,
Oh, there's the lamp.
Oh, we were wondering about that. So it looks like we probably won't get the Sea Space Mountain, aka the Dark Room Basement Roller Coaster tonight. I assume that SirLinkalot will check both those chests and find the lamp as well.
We will still be seeing a dark room here in Eastern Palace, though. But
yep.
much like the room, the Terrapin room, there is a candle we can light if he does want to make it a little easier. But it's honestly not hard getting that Igor without the light. You just have to kind of fire your bow a few times until you lock him down, approach a little bit, and just unload your arrows into his eye and get that key.
Right. The one thing that's nice about that is that the Igors start in the same position every time. So
yeah, definitely, and they don't move until you approach them. So
yep. I'm just gonna take the safe route here and go ahead and kill the one on the right for the key and head on up.
SirLinkalot's probably thinking right now, like, not more than 10 minutes ago, I only had one crystal, and I'm getting ready to get my fourth, and I still have a couple of other dungeons to lock down, but I can go mode them. Go moding Swamp is fun. Go moding Ice is fun. And then it's just kind of the almost always linear adventure that Turtle Rock is anyway. So he's got to be feeling pretty good about this right now.
That's going to be the nice thing about SirLinkalot is, as you mentioned, Slim, go mode Swamp Palace, go mode Ice Palace, super quick. Hopefully get go mode on both of those. Never know where those big keys are going to show up, so could be.
Well, that's the thing. You don't really need the big keys for either.
That's right.
Go moding, so
right. I always forget those. Those are the two that you don't really need the big key for. But SirLinkalot finds the shovel, appropriately enough for the Cadence sprite. Finding the shovel. Hayfield's gonna check the Mimic Cave.
So we did mention this earlier. SirLinkalot going into Ice Palace next. He is able to go mode this dungeon. The one thing he will need to be a little watchful of is his magic meter, though, because we will need a full magic meter going into the Cold Stare fight, just to make sure that we can actually unfreeze the ice and get him into that second phase. Because without half magic, you need a full bar in order to use the fire rod, and we do not have bombos whatsoever.
Yep. So just to answer a couple questions in the chat. Yep, JP, we've got map compass shuffle on this one, and Drake Mini is asking when the potential game 3 in this might be. Probably won't be right after this one. We don't have one. We don't have a game 3 scheduled after this. I assume it'll be later in the week. SirLinkalot and Hayfield get together and figure out what time would be best for them to schedule that.
We'll ask them and see if they have had anything in mind at least at the end of the race. See if maybe we can get an answer there. But yeah, if they need that time, obviously they should be allowed that time, because doing 2 back-to-back from the get-go on day 1 of the tournament, I imagine, is definitely stressful in some ways. But there have been a lot of back-to-back games scheduled today, too, so maybe that's just kind of the mindset that some of the runners have. They just want to get them done and out of the way.
Slim, I have some news. 59 minutes and 11 seconds. We're in bottle mode, finally.
Ooh,
found a bottle.
There it is.
Got the B-Torp 2 bottles on Laser Bridge. We were wondering when one of those was going to show up. And it is half magic. It's the third, the last chest on Laser Bridge. So yeah, SirLinkalot's going to have to go through this dungeon being very mindful of the amount of magic that he's using.
Looks like he is checking this chest, which is unfortunately just a red rupee. I want to say he should get enough, though, from the pots leading to Cold Stare.
Hopefully so. Hayfield going and taking care of Trinex.
Yeah, he has enough. As long as he doesn't miss a shot, he should be fine.
So yeah, one of the 2 bows was on. I'm trying to see if he can corner. Yep, he's doing nicely done, nicely done. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Slim. Look at that.
Got him.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really good. Cold Stare did get away from a little bit, but got plenty of slashes in there regardless. And looks like Hayfield finishing up Trinex as well around the same time.
Well done for both runners. Good fights on both their behalfs. Both picking up a crystal here. Hayfield's got 3, and that's number 5 for SirLinkalot. Just got Swamp Palace and Turtle Rock left to go. I assume that means for SirLinkalot that TR is going to be the last of the dungeons, checking the Hylia Lake Island just to make sure there's nothing up there. It's important, and there isn't. And now he's going to go off to Swamp Palace.
And there's not really anything we're going to be looking for in Swamp Palace, but there are like 1 or 2 chests that Linkalot could decide to pick up along the way, because, you know, silvers would be nice, a bottle for some safeties would be nice, so definitely not unheard of. Cape would even be nice as well, so.
Yep. I think Hayfield's probably going to find that, the bow here in just a moment. Looks like he's doing the checks with the boots up along the top of Hyrule near the Sanctuary. And yep, there's Bonk Rocks. He's going to go do this now. There's the bow. Made feel a bit bad knowing that it's been accessible all this time. Now Hayfield at 102.37 in go mode.
I mean, when you find like 2 items back to back, because we had Fire Rod and Hammer Pegs, and not long after that, the Hook Shot on Purple Chest, you know, you gotta feel like, okay, dungeons have a lot of value, a lot of items to find there. I should be focusing on crystals. I only have 1 done at this point, so I definitely don't blame Hayfield for the decision he made. It's just that 1 check that Linkalot made, checking Bonk Rocks when he did, was what ultimately kind of gave Linkalot a little bit of a head start, I guess, here, of kind of making progress at the end game. Looks like both are going to be going through Swamp Palace there.
Yep. And they'll probably both go motor at this point, so
Yeah,
a
definitely.
lot of chests that will remain a mystery. SirLinkalot going on down, can probably hook a right here and just head. No, can actually go down and check these two chessmen as well. Here's the big key. 10 arrow.
Yeah, they're not too far out of the way, and with boots, it
Yeah.
makes them a little faster to just grab 2 quick items, and especially with map and compasses off. It's kind of just unfortunate that the big key happened to be in one of those.
Right. You know, I guess the logic behind that is if you find silver arrows in there or something, then that's always welcome. Makes the end a little bit easier.
Yeah, silver's definitely not required, but it is definitely faster than Silveros, so if you can save a few seconds finding those and pulling those out, you want to, just to get, a slightly faster endgame boss fight.
Yep, not just for Ganon. You're making your way up the gauntlet as well as a lot quicker too with silvers.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Very nice start to the Argus fight here from SirLinkalot, already down to 2 buff balls. Trying to finish this off, it looks like. Super quick. Nicely done. Already getting the mirror out to be ready to go back to Light World, probably flute up to Death Mountain and head straight to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's SirLinkalot's agenda. Hayfield, unfortunately, still has Eastern, Palace of Darkness, and Ice Palace to clear out, so, definitely, Linkalot's definitely kind of ahead by 2 dungeons at this current point, but, we'll all see what happens in the endgame here.
Yeah, this could be a very, very good finishing time for SirLinkalot here as well.
I obviously didn't see the finish to the race that was, currently going on before this one started or anything, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the fastest tournament time so far. Not that that's saying much.
No, we're
just
three.
because
We're 3.
we've only had like 5 matches.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, it's a good, front runner for now anyway.
Yeah. For this, I think Hayfield is around a low 140. I think for that first race, and then SirLinkalot was low 150.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially for SirLinkalot, if this holds, this will be a really nice confidence boost as well, especially after how that first race went.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of get back in the rhythm, get back in the saddle here. There's the Magic Cape in Hookshot Cave. There's a up Dark Palace, super useful map at this point. And 50 rupees.
And that is true. One of the potential toggles that can be put for some of these matches, which was not used in this match, but the 6/6 Ganon's Tower Ganon condition, which basically allows you to not only enter Ganon's Tower with only 6 crystals, but also defeat Ganon with only 6 crystals. Potential, just a change that we can have the runners pick for their Game 2s or Game 3s. But SirLinkalot decided, let's just focus on the maps and compasses.
Hayfield pull off that nice Palace Bomb jump as well. their way through the dungeon. There's the lamp, so SirLinkalot now is super ready for the one remaining dark room in the game.
I suppose it's also worth mentioning that it is just kind of nice to get the lamp as well for Torch Glitch for the Ganon fight too. It does make that a little more comforting. With Fire Rod, you have to kind of time it a bit better.
I think it'll be interesting if we see SirLinkalot go check out. I think actually might have to. I think there's a key. The last key might be on Laser Bridge, so I may end up having to check that anyways.
Mm-hmm. And again, just to field a quick question in chat, yeah, MechaNX81, the maps and compass features basically just makes the maps and compasses the way they work in Key Sanity. And, you know, they can also appear outside of dungeons and in other dungeons. But you don't have to worry about the key aspect of Key Sanity. Those are still vanilla and in their own dungeons.
Right. So it's like Key Sanity, but without the fun part of having to spend half the time looking for the last key for Palace of Darkness somewhere in the overworld.
Right. It's Key Sanity light. I don't know, maybe Key Sanity Light is maps, compasses, small keys, and I don't know, maybe this is like Diet Key Sanity or something.
Key Sanity 0.
Key Sanity 0. Okay, I think that's better, because there's literally no keys. 0 keys.
All the great tastes of Key Sanity without the painful heartache. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot, of course, going through back half of Turtle Rock here. Hayfield's heading into Palace of Darkness, probably will do Paladin Eastern back to back here.
And from the look of it, I mean, it kind of depends on what SirLinkalot decides to do here. He has a small key already, so he can opt to just go straight to Trinex, but
Great.
as we mentioned, there are some bottles and half magic on the table.
Yeah, he's gonna say no thank you. I want the time.
I can understand that. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, you know, you just come off of losing a game 1. You know, it's like, I need this to stay and keep this series alive. So you definitely feel like you should probably, you know, make a few extra gambles here and there if you feel at least confident that you can actually make it work. So that's kind of what he's going for. I think that's what we're kind of seeing right now.
Great. He's got a big enough of a lead right now where it's not gonna kill his run. Probably if it's a little bit slower up GT.
But of course, there's always that one factor that you can't predict. Where is my opponent right now?
Yep.
I stumbled into this go mode, but did they stumble into this go mode? Did they maybe have it even a little bit before I did? Like, it's hard to call, really.
Yeah, it's one of those things that as a runner you're always like, okay, I read this pretty good. Did the other runner read it even better somehow and like magically, like as you said, Slim, stumble into something super early? Am I losing because I checked that one chest that had a heart piece in it and they didn't?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I guess we are going to Ganon's Tower now, so one thing we like to do in these races is we like to figure out beforehand where that big key is going to end up being in this seed. So get those numbers in chat, folks. for where you think that big key is going to end up. 1 through 22.
Yep. Yeah, I think the bot may unfortunately be. We might have to probably do this manually. I think the bot may be a little bit. I know we had some issues with it in the first race. It's been a little fuzzy at the start here, so hopefully it'll be back to normal. But 1 and 2, go on that.
We'll still play it, but yeah, the leaderboard will not work for this. But yeah, let's see where that big key is going to end up, folks. Is it going to be on this in plain sight visible torch location? No, but it is a heart container, and SirLinkalot's going to grab it.
There's the book at 4, 5 showing up. Nothing. 6, 7 small keys. Getting a lot of small keys, Will.
I know a lot of runners kind of like try to gauge, like, okay, I have this many small keys. Does this mean I keep going down this path, or do I swap to the other side? Because it could be over there. I think you can kind of start seeing the nerves a little bit from SirLinkalot right here with this crystal switch. I mean, you're in Ganon's Tower at 1 hour, 16 minutes, so you gotta be feeling pretty good just about that finishing time to begin with.
So what happens to the runner-up in this match? Tricky official asking that. So what will happen here if SirLinkalot wins is they'll both have 1 win to their name, and we'll have to go to a game 3 to see who is the first to get to 2. And that will be played at a time and date of the runner's choosing. Very likely going to be on a much later date this week. Oh, yeah. You're talking about second place overall. So Shooky's asking about second place overall, like in this best of 3. So what'll happen is the 2, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Slim, but the 2 runners who win here, these best of 3s move on, and then the 2 losers play each other, right?
Yeah, basically the way it works is for each of the quad groups, the first 32 seed will play against the 4th through 32 seed, and then the second 32 seed will play against the 3rd. This is a second and third match. The winners of those 2 matches will play each other, and the winner of that match will be the first one advancing. Then the losers of the 2 matches will be playing each other, and the winner of that will go play against the loser of the 2 winners matches, and then that will determine whether or not the who the second person moving on from the group is.
Right. And as we were giving that little bit of info, we found silvers.
We did.
And also Bob's chest had the buck nut. And we still have not found the compass. We are on to just the right side checks here, the last 5 on the right. So number 18 coming up next.
Yeah, it's pretty much a double elimination system for each of the groups, so that's pretty much what it is. I believe the format's traditionally called GSL.
Sir Link, of course, finding a green potion as well. That's super helpful.
There it
Hey,
is.
There we go. Number 18.
And so now you're probably going to see even more nerves from Lankalot, because now you're thinking, well, if my opponent went to the right side, then oh no, what am I going to do? So just going to have to try to keep his composure for the rest of this seed.
Indeed, and shoutouts to Azure Blight, who correctly was the only person in chat to guess 18 on the dot. So unfortunately, we don't have the leaderboard working, but well done.
Okay, so Hayfield is now heading up to Ganon's Tower as well, has all 7 crystals. You know, one of the things I like seeing about these matches, even though SirLinkalot does have, you know, a bit of a lead here, it is nice to see, like, both runners at least be in Ganon's Tower at the same time. You know that both runners, and especially in a seed like this, like, both runners are going to have a really, really good finishing time for this seed. Unfortunately, SirLinkalot does miss the first land mode, but does get him on the start of the next cycle. So, moving through land mode 2, and moving up to the final floors of the GT climb.
Going through the most satisfying room in the game, part 1.
I love that.
Yeah, just because it's like, place block, kill Wizrobes, be happy. And then part 2 is right here, the other Wizrobe room.
And he did it pretty well, so nice. It's just one of those things where, like, you know, as a kid and you're playing through this game, like, you don't really notice that, but then, like, you come and see, like, all these races and just people playing this game all the time. It's like, how did I not think of that? Like, the can of Samaria goes in, like, all these directions and it lines up perfectly. How did I not think of that?
It's one of those things, like, when you get to GT and you realize that the room with the refill room there, after you get through the cannonballs, you have to bonk across, and then you have like a galaxy brain moment, and you're like, oh, they intended for bonking to be a thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's not just something cool that we came up with, you know, to make things go faster. They actually were like, yeah, let's it's a mechanic. If you didn't figure out,
is an intended game mechanic.
Right, and if you didn't figure it out till now, well, maybe you'll remember on your next playthrough.
So I want to say, as a kid, like, I always thought it was like a case of, like, in those one rooms in the bottom of GT where you have to use, like, the ether medallion to light up to see the area. I thought it was like a case like that when I was younger, but I could never find the path, so it's like, oh, okay, I just don't know how to get there, but it ended up being nothing anyway.
Yep, and SirLinkalot making quick work of Moldorm 2. Super quick. The last chest was just a piece of heart, which is very appropriate for the seed. How many pieces of heart have we found? Oh god, goodness, I think we found like almost all of them at this point. And now we're on to the Aggo 2 fight, starting off with a single shot.
Didn't look like he got a very good pattern anyway, so yeah, another single shot as well.
Yeah, not really good patterns here. Maybe getting I think that was a double.
I think that was 2. It looked like it was.
Yeah.
That was a double. Yep, okay, so 1-1-2-2.
1-1-2-2. Very nicely done from SirLinkalot.
Oh, I didn't even notice this earlier, but yeah, there was also a bottle in Rando Room, so Linkalot it does have a bit of a safety here, so that's good.
It's a green potion as well, so
Yeah, it's definitely good to have in case you mess up the torch glitch, and it also kind of gives you an extra bar to like even use the cape in phase 2 if you feel like you need it to just kind of get it done and over with.
and this will be should be a pretty quick, pretty standard fight here for SirLinkalot. Usually doesn't take a whole lot of time to get the phase 3 with Tempered Sword. Does have to be careful though. It doesn't have a health safety, just a magic safety, so just want to be careful here on these fire bats. Yep.
Yep, he will want to be careful here. Ooh. Ooh!
Wow. Definitely has this in the... If you can not die like 20 times, probably has this in the bag. But you want to be careful.
Here I thought from his sprite selection, he plays Cadence of Hyrule. Apparently he plays a lot of Toho as well, with the way he dodged those bats.
Ooh, another dodge there.
Nice, and no, doesn't get the doesn't really need it. Does have silvers. That's right.
He's got one more hit. And that should do it. SirLinkalot just got to walk across that bridge. And we'll be in the record books, tying it up at 1-1 with a very, very good time here. As Hayfield does a very cool little block bonk across to hit the switch. And get your GGs in chat, everybody. SirLinkalot coming across the line, first place in this race. So it was a 7,000 series train. It sure was a 7,000 series train. Holy cow. Bullet train straight to Ganon there for SirLinkalot. A 126.18. Very impressive time. Very fast seed. Go mode at 43 minutes.
It looks like it's going to be an official SRL time of 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 20 seconds. Yeah, definitely get your GGs in chat. We are going to Game 3, folks. Our first Game 2 ended in a Game 3, so that's pretty awesome.
And Hayfield actually, not all things considered, not that far behind. Already going up through Gauntlet here at 127. So yeah, not going to be not too far behind. So definitely keep cheering Hayfield on here. Probably put in a pretty good time too.
Yeah, I mean he managed to get the big key just before Linkalot finished, so he had everything he needed to finish this seed. So definitely good work on his part too. It just came down to that bow location. Looking for that bow. Whoever stumbled on it first ended up being the victor in this race.
Yep. And we will get SirLinkalot in here shortly. Just finishing up Hayfield's playthrough at the moment. Making pretty efficient work out of Gauntlet, already up. Almost the second Land Molus fight, so. He doesn't have a heart though. Gotta be careful.
Oh. Gets sidewinded by one of the landmost stones.
And I suspect that Hayfield, having known that SirLinkalot's already finished, might just be a forfeit and move on to Game 3, probably. Yep. Looks like that's going to be the case.
Okay, yeah. He is officially forfeiting the rest of this race, but definitely GG from both runners. Again, that was a really, really quick seed. And, I mean, when you have pretty much go mode possibility before you even have the after only getting one crystal. That's a good feeling.
Absolutely, and I think we're just about ready to pull SirLinkalot in here, and we'll do that in just a moment. And we are joined by SirLinkalot, having won game 2 with a very, very good time. So first off, congratulations, GG SirLinkalot. Congratulations on your game 2 win here.
Thank you so much.
So that was, as the message at the end of the seed told us, that was certainly a 7,000 series train.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I picked Maps and Compass hoping to make the dungeons more valuable, and instead the game was just like, let's put everything on the overworld.
Yeah, that was 43-minute go mode. It was kind of unexpected, but at the same time, very fun to see.
So I only considered myself half in go mode at that point. Well, at that point I did consider myself in go mode, and then halfway through Ice Palace, I think it was when I was actually falling down the hole right before the 2 Stealthful Knights. I just kind of looked at my tracker to double check on my inventory. I'm just like, I'm sitting on a fire rod with no potions, no half magic, and I have no silvers at this point either. So it's like I have 2 shots to get torch glitch, or I'm gonna have to fall on Ganon and either go find silvers based off his hint or go find a potion, hopefully, if I don't do it on the way. So that's when I started like, okay, I need to find at least lamp potion or half magic, or silvers would be the best. But
You end up finding all of them from the look of it. Just not where you expect them or really need them at that point.
yeah, no half magic. I was just like, as soon as I got lamp and turtle rock, I'm like, okay, I'm good at this point. I should be fine. And then I was like, here, have a potion. I'm like, okay, now I know I'm good. It's like, here, have silvers 2 chests later. It's like, okay, thanks.
Oh yeah, that's right. Half magic was actually on Laser Bridge, so could have gotten it, but at that point, like, you had some other stuff going on, so it's probably not a super concern of yours.
Yep. I do have one question about the when you did the Smith chain there pretty early. Was that just checking available locations? Was there a certain item that kind of spoke to you and said, hey, go do this right now?
So when I got to Village of Outcasts and I got the flute out of there, I was like, I'm gonna check the first 4 in Thieves Town. And while I was checking it, I started thinking, I already knew it was a pendant. I'm like, do I want to just leave? I made the conscious decision. I'm gonna leave Thieves Town, activate my flute. I'll go check a little bit more of the overworld and Dark World. Then I'm gonna go to the mountain. Finding boots and mitts on mountain, I'm gonna just follow boots and mitts at this point. I'm not gonna check anything that's not boots or mitts locked, and that just gave me everything I needed, basically.
And I would have to say it feels probably pretty good to have a quick seed like this, especially after game 1 didn't quite go as well with the checks as game 2 did. So I assume that this probably is a little bit of a nice little shot in the arm there to give you a little bit of confidence going into that game 3.
Yeah, that was nice, and remembering, hey, I got the mitts on Death Mountain, I can go to Dark Death Mountain. I didn't make that mistake twice, thankfully.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I guess another question I had was another thing that kind of helped you a little bit. Obviously, having the bow for as long as you did was the bigger factor here, but because of your initial how game 1 went, were you kind of like thinking like, I need to kind of make some more gambles in the seed? Is that kind of why you noped out a little bit early in Thieves Town? Just kind of focus on just kind of moving forward with the items you did have?
No, the idea of Thieves Town was it's a quick 4 check, so I basically treat those as overworld checks. If Death Mountain would have come up with no progression whatsoever, because I knew Hera was a crystal, so I was going to have to go up there anyways, I was just going to go right back to Village of Outcasts and dive right back into Thieves Town, basically pick up where I left off.
Okay, makes sense. But yeah, definitely GG on your performance here. And one thing the chat's really wanting to know, when is that game 3 going to end up being? Do you have an idea? Do you both need some time to figure that out first? Like, they want to see this was the first game 2 of the tournament, and it ended up going to game 3, so everyone's really interested in when that is going to happen.
Yeah, so we don't know when Game 3 is going to happen. It's not today. We kind of spoke beforehand because our schedules are not very good for each other. So we're going to probably talk for a little bit after this and try to figure it out. Because normally we'd probably do it on Saturday, but I'm gone pretty much all day Saturday. So it's going to be more than likely sometime during the week. Just don't know when yet.
Okay. Okay, well, everyone in chat, keep your eye out on that schedule for Game 3 because that's going to be a show, that's for sure. The first Game 3 of the tournaments, first possible Game 3 of the tournament too, and that's really awesome. But if you want to see more with in regards to this group, actually coming up here very soon, we're actually going to have the other 2 members of this group on this same exact channel. We're going to have Pika Pals versus James FNX. Looks like that's going to be happening like within the half hour even. So
yeah, so we probably won't want to muse about too much here because we got to make sure we give time for our follow-up commentators here, Wolflink and Quizbowl, to get in here and get ready. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on. In fact, right now, if you want to catch something in the meanwhile over on ALTTP Randomizer, Hydropower and Adium are battling. And then at 3:20 Eastern, we've got Sailor Nep and Humbug on Speed Gaming 5. Game 2 of the doubleheader between James and Pika Pals will be on after the conclusion of Game 1 between them on Speed Gaming 2. And then we've got a whole bunch. There's so much rando because this is just the start of the tournament. So there's so much rando going on today and tomorrow that I would just say make sure to follow all of the Speed Gaming channels because as SNES Superstars ends and as we get going here, all 5 or 6 of them will be really firing off, and plus the ALTTP Randomizer channels as we get restreams of everything as well. So definitely keep an eye out on all of them. Of course, want to thank our wonderful runners here for doing their thing. Yes, the bot is working for that at least. So make sure to follow SirLinkalot and Hayfield for an excellent job today. And of course, want to thank all the other people that made this possible, our wonderful restreaming teams. Of course, Iceman doing the hard work of tracking. And Slim, of course, as always, thanks for co-commenting with me. Much appreciated.
Not a problem at all. Always a pleasure to commentate with you, Nihan. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Check out all the tournament matches to come. See the other matchup of Group AC here in just a little bit. It'll be another back-to-back matchup. James FNX versus Pika Pals. So watch those. We're going to head out of here. See you guys later, and keep on playing Rando.
Absolutely. Remember, someone out there loves you, and we love you too. Take care of yourselves, guys.